What's happening, brochachos? It's been quite some time since I've done one of these live stream, well, this is not a live stream at all, it's an update. It's been a while since I've done any kind of video where I just sit down and talk in front of the camera like this, but out of frame here, I got Tony Cat. You can't see him, but if you go on his Instagram, at I am Tony Cat, you can see this 20 pounds of 12-year-old rubbish right in front of you. Anyhow, the reason that I'm doing this update today is because I originally was gonna go out and ride yesterday with the boys, but after we went to the Barracks Jam for the Etnies Chapters DVD, we were riding all day, and I had ridden quite a bit the few days before that. On Sunday, my knee started really feeling crappy, and for those of you guys who don't know, roughly 3 months ago, around I think it was May 12th, I got in a motorcycle accident where this guy basically ran a stop sign here on Melrose, which is he actually did it right in front of Brooklyn Projects. It was 2 blocks down the street from the store. And in order to avoid his car, I had to slide the motorcycle, basically lean it over. But my ACL, when I put my knee out, my ACL buckled, and I still don't know the full extent of the injury. Reason being is that I have Obamacare, and for those of you guys that have that, you know that insurance companies and doctors and different clinics and these MRI centers, they all change what type of insurance policy they carry or they accept and whatnot. So it's been roughly 2 months of going back and forth with the insurance company to see what kind of a specialist I need, what kind of surgeon I need to go see, who's going to do the MRI studies, and after a bunch of arduous and phone calls that were going nowhere, I finally got a hold of somebody that's going to see me tomorrow at 5:30. So hopefully tomorrow will be the day that I find out exactly the full extent of my injury. I know a lot of you guys are more lay people out there that aren't probably BMX or skateboarders or have made their life out of a career like this. So you're probably not exactly privy to falling all the time. For those of you guys that do know, all my BMX and skating and surf and every action sport homie, you know what it's like to twist your ankle, break an elbow, a wrist, whatever it is. And if you haven't gone to the extent of tearing your ligaments, then let me spare you some of the heartache, but it sucks. This is my going on 4th knee injury, and I've explained this in other videos before, but basically when you hurt your knee, unlike breaking a bone, which seems more horrendous, let's say you get a compound fracture and you shatter either your shin or your forearm, and even then your bone is coming out, it's not as bad as your ACL or tearing different ligaments. The reason for that is that when you break your bone, after that it sucks, obviously, every injury sucks, but they put the bone in a cast, they stitch you up, and 6 to 8 weeks later, you're back to normal. Sure, there might be a little bit of arthritis buildup, and you go through the fear of falling off the horse, but you gotta get right back on the horse and go back to riding or skating, whatever it is that you do. Ligament damage is a lot different. The reason for that is that once you tear, rip, or stretch out a ligament, they never really go back into place fully. So they need the help of surgery, whether it's arthroscopic or fully invasive replacements. There's different degrees of obviously injuries, and there's different degrees of the remedy to fix such an injury. When you do your knee, it sucks because your knee is a very pivotal joint. It's where, basically in my head, all of your at least athletic endeavors pivot on your knees, literally. So if you're doing soccer and you have to cut, or basketball or football, and you're juking somebody, you're stomping, you're pivoting, you're switching which direction you're going in. And if you don't have a fully functioning ACL, what happens, and not to play doctor too much, but basically your knee is a joint that hovers like this. And anytime you do any movement like that, your knee will actually move, your femur, which is your thigh bone, will move in front of your knee, which is where basically your shin bone connects with the patellar ligament, with your kneecap, and all the other ACL, MCL. You got your cartilage around there called the meniscus. And basically, it keeps it all in place. But when you pivot, it'll move forward. Basically, on the inside of your knee, there's an ACL that crosses this way and an MCL that crosses this way, and they form a little X that basically prevent it from shifting forward or side to side too much. And then on the sides, you have the cartilage, which are the menisci, that hold your knee in that position. Well, if you stomp too much, or if you plant abruptly, or if like a linebacker falls on your joint, or if you're doing a wall ride flare and you extend your leg too much and you buckle it the wrong way, what happens is that the joint moves more freely than normal, and that extension causes either an extension, a sprain, a strain, or worst case scenario, a tear or a complete like separation. And basically, your knee might pivot or turn, and that turning will tear the ACL. Or it might go shift forward and do the same. And when you're doing that, the more severe the turn and the more severe the trauma, obviously, then you'll damage everything around your knee. So your menisci or meniscus, they will suffer some of the like let's say it turns, well that meniscus or cartilage will actually suffer from your joints actually kind of like grinding on each other, and then it'll form like little fragments that are in your knee. So when you have to have a surgery, they have to like vacuum all that out, and it's a whole mess. You don't want to deal with it. But for those of us that have devoted our lives to sports, it's something that pretty much is your nightmare. You really want to stay away from this type of injury because oftentimes it really can cost you your career if you don't do the proper rehab, if you don't have the right fortitude mentally, and if you don't have the right people around you. My first ACL injury was when I was 18. I was dirt jumping my friend Mike Savader's dirt jumps, and I overshot one of the jumps, and then to compensate for overshooting that jump, I basically pumped the next one really hard and then even overshot the next one by like another 5 feet. And when I landed, there was a pothole, so I tried to avoid the pothole, and instead when I landed, I basically planted, my knee shifted forward, and I could just hear the pop. And it's like a loud pop. And that was definitely my ACL like tearing completely. Once you do the injury, your knee gets really swollen. It's incredibly painful. But then like 2 or 3 days later, after the swelling goes down, you can kind of start walking, like obviously at first with a little bit of like a limp. You might need a cane or some crutches, but after some time it seems normal. Now the problem is that when you think it's all fine, you get back to your sport, everything around your knee after like the swelling has gone down and you build up a little bit of muscle, it feels normal. But then when you go to plant again, your knee now has an added amount of range of motion basically. And let's say you plant, you're actually going to plant, and your knee might actually like allow for your femur or your thigh bone to like jump in front of your kneecap by a lot. So when that happens, like now you're grinding on your meniscus, your knees are grinding on each other, whatever is left of your tendons or whatever's damaged, your ligament or tendons or muscles, now it's turning more than normal, so you're damaging everything else. So oftentimes when you're in the thick of your sport, your career, you get injured, you get back to the sport, you start riding, and then you keep getting more and more injured. So then that causes all sorts of other problems like arthritis, and then inflammation, grinding of the bones, and there's all these other things that happen. So that's what I did. Basically, the first time I hurt my knee, it came out of place. I waited for like a month or two. Then I went right back to BMX riding, and I think it came out of place another 6 times after the initial injury before I actually got a surgery. So that's terrible. I do not recommend you doing that. If you get hurt and you know for a fact that your ACL is completely gone, go get the surgery right away. Don't wait. Don't be like me. The other 2 times I was a little better. I already had experience from the prior injury, so I got the surgery a lot quicker. This time, it's already been 2.5 months, so I already have a little bit of play in my knee, and I still don't know the full extent of it, but I don't think it's as bad as the original injuries, but it is bad because I have like basically a long line of history with injuries on my knees. This will be my 4th one, so my fingers are crossed, and I hope that it's not the full extent and I don't need a full surgery. But this is where you guys come into play, and after I get the results from my MRI, then I have to take them to my specialist or surgeon, and they're gonna let me know like if and when I should get surgery. So that's when I'm gonna chime in and see what you guys think, if I should wait and get the surgery in like November, December, when it's a little colder, when we can't ride as often, or if I should just get it right away, that way I could be back on my bike sooner. But either way, I want to like have that rapport with you guys. I've been very fortunate in the last year to grow this channel to where we're at now, which is right shy of 80,000 subscribers. So 100,000 subscribers is right around the corner, and I want to continue to grow this channel in a positive way where I give back quality content to you guys. And that's why I'm going to open this up now to questions to you guys. Like, what do you guys want to see in this channel? What do you want to see less of, more of? Ideally, I would want to pivot this more, and as you know, I'm here in the back of No Jumper. Shout out to Adam. But I want to have basically a platform to interview other athletes, skateboarders, BMX riders, surfers, all the homies that do interesting things, as well as people that I find like genuinely interesting, that have successful businesses, that are doctors, lawyers, and other people that I have like a similar mindset. For those of you guys that don't know, are kind of new to this channel, I work 7 days a week. You know, I do a lot with the Come Up, on some shit LA, our store. I help with No Jumper. I help my brother's car shop, European Union. I do the Riggg. I athlete manage, so I have like Stevie and all the guys I represent. So I have quite a bit on my plate. So with that in mind, I want to do more things that kind of revolve around giving you guys a little more information and more useful or tangible content that helps you guys better your lives, since you guys obviously enrich mine. So yeah, I just want to kind of like open that up now, and you know, over the next few weeks, we're going to be doing a lot more interesting things on our other channel, which is the Come Up BMX. We're going to be doing a lot of things with No Jumper. We're going to be doing more events. We stopped doing some of the rides that we used to have at the ONSOMESHIT downtown LA store because it got too big, basically. And now that we're in Melrose and we have a much larger following, you know, we're kind of nervous of inviting everyone here because it could be kind of chaotic. So my job this week is to basically go and talk to the city, see what kind of permits we need in order to have a jam, see what kind of route we're going to take, and make it fun for everyone, obviously, but also make it safe. Anyway, I just want to conclude with saying thank you to all of you guys that support my content, our brands, the Come Up, on some shit LA, No Jumper, the Riggg, basically everything we're doing. I really appreciate all you guys' constructive criticism. Obviously, there's going to be trolls like anything, and obviously you can't get along with everyone, so there's going to be people that dislike the content, dislike people, myself included, people that are in my channel. And to those people, then it's just, you know, it is life. Not everyone can see eye to eye, but, you know, whatever. I want to do more live streams, more Q&As, more things like that. So I'm going to open this up to you guys. Please leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys want to see. And as always, I appreciate you guys' viewership. I appreciate you guys checking everything out. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And wait for tomorrow's video, because I'm going to start dropping them a lot earlier, and definitely 7 days a week again. And hopefully you guys enjoy it all. So thanks for the time. Much love. Peace.
It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it.